Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome to all the social media platforms. So today I have Charlie and Maureen here with me, and today joining us, the legend, Rowdy. So, so I don't want to say too much. I want to let you talk. So introduce yourself, Rowdy. And so today the theme is around Web3 gaming and sort of around that subject and anything around that, so blockchain, NFTs, Web3 gaming, ethics around that, and also the advancements as well around that as well. So on that note, Rowdy, I'll pass the mic to you. Please introduce yourself, my friend.
Beautiful. First of all, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Great to see you amazing people. And yeah, I'm excited to get this underway. I'm James Rowdy. I've been in the, crypto scene since 2017. Bought some Bitcoin back then. A mate sold me. He goes, mate, buy this. It's the future. After a few bottles of wine, gave him a bunch of money and bought some Bitcoin. I still hold all those Bitcoin. But got in at a really great price. Bitcoin was about $3,000 at the time. So done quite well there. And then was really curious about, overall blockchain technology. The more I learned about it, learning about Ethereum. And now you can build these like applications on there and they can do all these crazy things. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then sort of like fast forwarded to 2020, like I was sort of like doing it, just learning about it on the side, sort of like investing. And my full-time job was in construction. So I was doing that up till 2020. COVID hit. It was a bit of a wake up call, I guess, for all of us. And I was like, okay, my whole life and career is dependent on my employer. And I didn't like that. And that made me really uncomfortable. So I had to change that, right? So I started learning about e-commerce, and I started trying a whole bunch of things in the e-commerce scene. Um, started a few stores here and there, done quite well. Ended up moving to Bali in September, and I went to a villa party as soon as I got there. Escaped the lockdowns here in Melbourne. Went to a villa party full of influencers, digital nomads, whatever we want to call them. And this is the start of the bull run, right? Bitcoin went from 10 to 14K, and I was like, oh wow, like this is interesting. And I was watching the pump, getting excited, and then everyone's like, "Yo, Rowdy, don't worry about crypto. NFTs are the future." And at the time, there was an app called Clubhouse that I'm sure we all remember. And I remember that it was invite only, right? And this is when like Zuckerberg and Elon and all these big names were on this private platform, and it was invite only. And I think you got 2 invites a week or a day or something like that. Anyways, I got an invite to that. We went down the rabbit hole with NFTs. Stayed there all night, just listening about it. And I was like, holy shit, this is the future. Woke up the next day, went down the rabbit hole, started buying, selling, trading, flipping, sort of like NFTs, and was one of the first 10,000 wallets in the world to actually do that. And I just remember being on these like Clubhouse audios, which are now like Twitter Spaces, right? And everyone was just talking about like the application and implications of using this technology and how it's going to shape and affect our future. And I just at that point of time, I was like, all right, cool. This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Like this is it. Like I really want to build a career out of this and really get more deeply involved in the space and provide value in whatever way I can. And then sort of, I guess fast forward to today, started scaling. Well, I guess sort of let's rewind a bit. Came back from Bali in what was that? I think it was like halfway through 2021, and then basically was flipping, degenning, a whole bunch of stuff since then. And then at the start of last year, I met my co-founders Dylan and Daniel. We started doing the first meetups. At the time, I know that there's some other OGs that I've got to pay respects to who actually had. But I guess sort of like the first in that rush, right? But we started scaling. It was 8 people at a coffee shop, and I went to 20 people, and these were fortnightly events, then 30, then 60, 80, 100, all the way up till the end of last year, where our largest event was 500 here in Melbourne, and we actually scaled that brand to Sydney, Gold Coast, and also New Zealand, which we quickly rebranded just at the end of last year to NFT APAC, pushing through IRL events through the APAC region, so the Asia Pacific region, right? Been involved in a bunch of other things as well. My career has now led me to currently being the chief marketing officer for a company called Army of Fortune. The guys behind Army of Fortune are early founding members of Supercell. Now, I'm sure that everyone who's got a mobile phone knows the very famous games Clash of Clans, Heyday, Clash Royale, and the list goes on. There is a ton. These guys are responsible for it, right? So Supercell is worth $11 billion. And these guys got out a couple of years ago. They started building these games. They saw what happened with Axie Infinity, and they've already built the last decade of mobile gaming. And they thought, okay, well, what does the next decade look like? And then, they started building games, mobile games. And that sort of, led me to, connect with them in November last year. They said, we need some help with Web3 marketing and all that sort of stuff. So here I am working with them. And it's crazy. It's what a journey. I mean, in the space of like a year and a bit, I've gone from, working in a corporate construction job, which was like, I did love it at the time and I was passionate about that industry, to now, I guess, doing something with a purpose, which makes a huge difference. I think a lot of us don't do that. We work that 9 to 5 rat race and we don't really serve a purpose. So now I'm serving a purpose, and I think that, that just makes life a whole lot funner and better. So yeah, I guess that's me, in the macro.
Oh my, you unpack quite a lot there. I'm not letting go. I'm more, I'll let you ask the first
that's the bus and me in front of it. I don't even know where to start. So, what was your experience with gaming prior to meeting these people? Because I know you're involved in obviously crypto and NFT, but what about the now you're with them in marketing, but what about other previous gaming experience? Was there any, or is this a first for you, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, big gamer when I was a kid. I mean, like, I have Mario and Luigi, Sonic and stuff. Big gamer since then. That was childhood for me. Not gonna lie, I haven't been much of a big gamer for quite some time until sort of recently signing up with these guys last year, and now it's my job to play games. So tough gig, but yeah, that's, I guess, to be honest, like, I mean, like, understand gaming and how it works and stuff like that. But I mean, to be like truly, like, I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore gamer. Right. And I'm definitely not like a professional at gaming. Still learning and growing as I go. But a lot of the things that I have learned throughout my career, in Web 2 and now Web 3 applies to this. So I guess I'm leveraging on those strengths whilst learning new things within the gaming industry to help strengthen the gaming industry overall.
So I'll just ask another question. So tell me how this is working, like the combination of gaming in Web3. Is it play to earn? How are they structuring the game itself?
Yeah, so we're not doing a play to earn model. We're doing a free to play model, right?
Free to play,
So digital ownership is huge, as we all know. But for all the listeners listening, I mean, they've all played games, and you might go and buy that Fortnite skin, or go and buy those V-Bucks or whatever it is, and you're like, yeah, cool, I got this great character online. But it's only through that game, right? You can't take it off there and go and sell it to a friend or this and that. I mean, like, I remember back in the day when I was 18, my housemate at the time was playing World of Warcraft full time. And he was buying and selling accounts on eBay, right? And I was like, wow, like, people are doing this. So if people were doing it back then on a third party with, how were you going to verify that was your account? You know what I mean? Like, big disconnect there, right? Now, I guess with blockchain technology, we can now verify those assets on chain. And I think it just overall enhances the overall experience to it. So digital ownership is huge. So free to play model, we do have NFTs and tokens throughout the games. There are 2 games that we're launching. Our flagship game is Army of Fortune. There is another game coming out before that. I can't reveal that just yet. But yeah, there is another cool game coming before the flagship game. But Army of Fortune is the flagship game that we're building. And that really, I guess, enhances the overall experience, right? It's completely revolutionary. And we're really focusing on mobile gaming. Why? Because mobile gaming outperforms the other platforms, console and PC, nearly 3 to 1. Right?
Wow.
It's crazy. $136 billion the mobile gaming industry alone is predicted to hit this year. So that's pretty crazy, right? That's bigger than that's bigger than the market cap. I think of, like, what is it? I think the Binance coin at the moment or something like that. So it's like astronomically huge. So crazy.
So I just want to go all the way back, my friend.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped the gun there. So let's play rewind.
I know I want to build it up. So you said your background was from the trade, right? Can you shed some light, because someone like, oh, he was a, like, oh, he's from the trade and just like happened to come across, he had a construction and happened to, like, he's a maid, he got a maid and he introduced me crypto, and it just sounded like very easy, right? It just sounded like so easy, like, oh, and people who are there, they're like, oh my god, how come, why am I not thinking like that? Why am I different? You know what I mean? So I just want you to sort of unpack that part. Like, you're in the construction industry. What were you doing at that point, and what sort of, just give a little bit of context around that, please.
Yeah, for sure. So I got into construction, when I was a teenager, done a carpentry apprenticeship in New Zealand, where I'm originally from. And then I guess sort of came when I moved to Australia back in 2009, 10, started working in the construction industry, was a warehouse manager, then quickly progressed into sales. So I was doing sales predominantly as like a BDM account manager on the road, selling, plasterboard, external cladding, like metal studs, like a whole bunch of like construction materials, right? So for me, like I'm a natural born salesman, so I understand sales, I understand marketing and all that. So I was like, cool. And I've always been really curious about things, right? Just us as humans, we're naturally curious about life. How does that work? How does this work? Like we've got questions in our mind every single day. So I mean, I'm the same, right? So really curious. And then when I'm surrounded by great people like my friend who got me into it, and all the other people that I've met, is when they go, oh, like this can do this, and I'm like, all right, I'm all ears. So yeah, I mean, to sort of like again answer that question is like that's sort of how it started, and then just sort of I lost passion for it. It became really toxic, and I like a really negative sort of industry. I found lots of ego, lots of guys in there, like small dick energy, so I was just like, not my vibe. I really outgrew that. And
So what happened to your friend that introduced you to Bitcoin? Are you guys still in touch? What's he doing? Like, he must have been an early investor.
Yeah. He look, we still keep in touch. Not as much as we used to. We still do keep in touch. He's got a Web2 like agency, but he's done very well for himself. But yeah, I'm not too sure like what he's really doing. He's really focused on travel at the moment, and I guess he's just having fun doing that and living his best life.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's cool. How that part works. I mean, like, Charlie, your background is
construction as well, and growing up in New Zealand. Must be a thing.
It's trending. It's trending.
And so, like with crypto, around that time, there's a lot of hoo-ha. Everyone was like, everyone got into it because of the trading element, right? Like, I got into that about 2016 because of the trading and more in yourself. Charlie, when did you start? 2015 or something?
Yeah, but didn't start trading until 18. So really got the shovel out, got wrecked. And
like
then,
all of us.
Decided to start learning more about the technology and digging in.
Yeah. And I think so there is no harm in starting with trading, because that's like you can start double on it. And I think the next stage up is the blockchain. Like, what is NFT? And you get like the utility and the community, and you just go into all of that.
You go beyond the trading.
From the trading, like everyone comes on the trading and then start progressing a little bit more further, right?
I feel there's still going to be the trading element, like flippers on NFTs, Blur at the moment, getting those Blur tokens. But I feel when I'd like to get your opinion on this, Rowdy, is like since NFTs have really taken off, like they've been there for many years, but never really been open. It was all just tokens. But with NFTs, it's brought a whole different category of people into the crypto space. You've got Rowdy, you've got the gamers, you've got artists, you've got collectors, you've got all sorts, and that's only just getting started.
I feel like it's almost legitimized the industry, like it brought what they call, what is the term? Is it white money?
I don't know, degens.
What's
a degen, by the way?
Oh, that's a great question. Degen, I heard this from Oscar, so this credit goes to Oscar, but decentralized generation, he called it, and I love that. But degen, if you Google it, I posted a LinkedIn post about this recently. But a degen is, if you search it up on Google, it's someone who makes horrendous investments essentially with their money and just loses a lot. I guess we joke about that a lot in Web3, but I am a degen. I started as a degen, and I'm proud to be a degen. Not from that perspective, from the perspective that degens are the lifeblood of Web3. They move the liquidity, they set the trends. They are Web3, and a lot of people forget that. The degens are in the trenches. We're the ones learning everything, and there's a lot of grifters coming in and saying like, yeah, I'm an expert, I'm doing this and that, but a lot of these degens don't get enough credit. And I think a degen is someone who understands Web3. I mean, that's how I look at a degen.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
They're the people that just get in and push the buttons and then see how it works.
I mean, and they dictate what makes or breaks it, right? Because they are the users, they are the consumer. They go, we don't like this, and it's public forum on crypto Twitter where everyone's like, we like this, we don't like that, and it's an open discussion, right? You're either going to make or break, and the degens decide.
And that's a good point. So I just want to go to touch base on what challenges, right? So my challenge, first of all, when I started trading, I got through BTC markets. That's what I used to get in, and then I used Polypay to deposit funds, and then you learn about addresses. So I got a paper wallet first, and I just followed like 1, 2, 3 steps. I printed it. I didn't really know what I was doing, right? I just had a bit of technical background, so because of that, I just said, okay, this is like 1, 2, 3. I just follow exactly what it's saying, rather than thinking too much of it, because I knew that there's a process. Went through that process, and then got into from BTC markets. I'm like, trading, just like some other crypto. So I went to Bitfinex, right, and doing on there. But it was a bit of a process, right? And then Charlie, when we got into NFTs, like I had no idea until you showed me, like, of course, it is MetaMask, right? You're the person who showed me, right? MetaMask and the seed phrase, and this is how we set it up and all that. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense, Can you show it me again? Like, and I'm being like a developer for like 20 something plus years.
Try coming from construction and learn that.
Right? So that was my challenge initially, but once we, at that time, Blockstars was in a motorhome, right? Inside a motorhome, 80s motorhome with like pretty much it's with like mold, and we open the windows and hopefully it will smell less next day, but it wasn't because it rained and it got wet and all that stuff, and so I found that it wasn't like a major challenge, but I found it like being IT. I should be getting this like this, should be natural, right? And what did you find? What was your challenge?
Oh, I can't remember. I guess researching years ago, there wasn't as much information out there. Today, there's a lot more education out there where you can go on YouTube, Google. There's hundreds of videos out there. But I think you touched a good base, is having a friend that can first introduce you around that. Same with you, Rowdy. I had a mate that got me back into it and went, look at all this stuff that's happening. And I'm like, okay, all right, back in, and then just educated myself. But if you don't have a friend that can sort of touch base on things, like even not just you, Cozzy, I've got a lot of other friends that are like, oh, cool, I bought some crypto on Binance or CoinSpot or whatever, and they're like, but I want to do this. How do I do that? And it's like, okay, you do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, okay, what about that? And it's like, yeah, you do this, and then they're away. Once you show them and they get the understanding, and you say, make sure you back up that seed phrase, because if you lose it, it's all gone. It makes it a lot easier. But
that's important, right? Because why do we learn from our friends? Because we trust them, right? And that's where the learning comes from. So how do we build trust? I've taught a lot of friends about Web3. A lot of them, it warms my heart when I teach someone and serve that person. Go, hey, this is Web3. This is what you can do with it, and I'll teach you how to get in there. And now these people are full time in Web3, and they're living an abundant life, doing what they want. They got to work from home, spend time with kids, or with their girlfriend or their partner, whatever it is. And they're just a lot happier. And it's just why? Because they trust me, right? And that's why you trusted your friends. And look what it's the same effect, right? So I think that's the important thing there is like trust. So when we are educating and onboarding people into Web3, the media, should not be trusted. I'm not going to get political, but those guys, filled us with fear and all sorts of shit, and they still do every single day. So do not trust them. But they do say that this place is a scam and this and that. And look, there are scams in this place, but there are scams in the real world as well. So, it just depends who you trust, right? But I think that's the important thing here is trust. We learn from people that we trust, and that's really important. So if anyone is curious in listening and don't know where to start, you can reach out to either of us, Blockstars or myself. But why not reach out to your friends and listen to your friends who are, getting into the space too, because there's no doubt that you probably trust them. If you don't, maybe you need new friends, but that's a great place to start.
And what's your? I want to just go back to Maureen.
There were so many times I was going to jump in and just comment because I wish I had that. I never, when I was starting off, I'm from Darwin. Number one, it's pretty much like a small country town at that stage. No one was in crypto. There was no one I could talk to. I just got the curiosity for myself. All of my friends that had heard of it was all a scam. So I basically had to teach myself everything. And like you said, there wasn't much material out there. I remember the first time I transferred Bitcoin from one wallet to another. It took almost an hour, and I had thought I'd lost all my money. It was the longest hour of my life waiting for it to get to the other wallet, and I just went through that whole journey alone. So I feel like it would have been great to have a friend that was interested and we could have bounced off, but that's also another reason that drove me to really I wanted to do it so well that I sought that education overseas, and I looked for it in Australia. We were so far behind that the only place I could really all about qualifications as a lawyer, that I could really do something that was that level of qualification was in Cyprus. They were the leading place at the time. 2018, no university in the world had moved on it apart from the University of Nicosia, the first mover in the world. So
that's crazy.
But if I had a friend, maybe I wouldn't have gone there. So but the journey is different, but I guess we're all here in the same room now, so the end point is the same.
You would say something, Charlie?
Yeah, just touching on Rowdy, with the media, it's like a prime example of Bitcoin's hitting 50, 60K. The media's like, oh, look, Bitcoin's pumping, crypto's going great. And then a few months later, it's coming back down, and they didn't talk about it for the previous year when it was down at the 10K or 15 or 20. And then, it comes pulling back down like it does with, we seem to have 4-year cycles historically in crypto. And then it gets to these stages and they're like, no, it's dead. It's like, now's probably the time you should be looking, not like when it was 60K and Elon Musk was going on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, but I find that the media is one of those places where you always have to question who owns the media. There's always so much manipulation because retailers trading is an emotional thing, and if you're led by emotion you get wrecked. So they play on that fear. They get that emotion because people that are reactive, that's exactly what they want. There's just so much, especially when it was a small market cap, the crypto industry could be so easily, the entire market moved through fear and greed. So that was one of the measurements I'd use, the fear and greed index. I'd always check it every day. Like if it was up really high, I'd be like, no, I'm not buying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. It's yeah. I mean, and that's just what they do, right? It's when you're on a high, they're like, oh my god, look, this is great, Bitcoin's great, like everything's great. And when it's not so great, yeah, that's a horrible investment. Do not do that. Yeah, if you listen to the media, I mean, you are not going to make it, and that's the fact. So yeah, don't listen to the media.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And it takes that cycle for anyone out there listening, and Rowdy, you'd know too. It takes that cycle of you got in at early 17, mid 17. Jumps up, going to 20k. Oh yeah, it's going to keep going, and then it comes back down, and then you start learning more, and you learn more, and then you see, oh, okay, this thing's pretty cool. This isn't, and you've really just got to live through it and stick with it. I say, every bull run we have, we go all the way up. Everyone jumps in, and I reckon when we pull back, we get about 20% more people staying in. Just a number off the top of my head, where Bitcoin halving runs up, comes down, people leave, you keep 20%, next Bitcoin halving runs up, you get a 20% more people hanging around, but really believe in our technology and are willing to think outside the box and understand stuff, which is, I'm waiting for the big gaming wake up, A lot of gamers are like, oh, NFTs, I don't know, they're really turned off the NFT thing, but when you realize that you actually own that item, it actually works so well with Web3 and gaming.
100%, and that's an awesome segue to the next part, because I was like, okay, we reached half the part, and I really want to get into the gaming part, because that's my that's I'm so excited, because I think we have at Blockstars we have hardcore gamers, and we have DJs like myself, and we have heavy crypto people like Charlie, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna get to those assets. I'm gonna just buy it. You know what? It's cool. Let's flip it, whatever, right? But then we have hardcore gamers who's like, they don't like it. They're like, oh, it's coming. These guys are coming in and getting me this one, but they're not playing the game. They just there to earn things and just extract value out of it, but not adding value to the gaming community, right? And I mean, we had those conversations, especially one person like it's like nah, you know what I mean? So in a space like this at the moment, I don't know whether they're seeing it. They see it, but they don't want to muddy the water. What is your take on this, Rowdy?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great question, right? So just on that, gamers might not like NFTs yet. No one liked AirPods when they came out. Now everyone's got a pair of AirPods, right? People don't like change, right? Only true innovators and visionaries, they like change and they adapt to change, and opportunists that see the potential in the future. So it makes a lot of sense. And now you're starting to see gamers actually pivot and go, hey, this is actually really cool, this NFT thing. Dr. Disrespect, huge YouTube, Twitch streamer and YouTube streamer, big in the gaming space, right? This guy wrote some tweets a couple of days ago about the importance of NFTs and why, it's needed, like it's mandatory. We need this for the gaming space. So, I mean, the gaming industry is so massive, and I didn't understand how. I knew it was big. I didn't know how big it was until I actually now work in the space, and then go, holy shit! This is wild. So movies, Avatar. You think about that, the new one, turning over $1 billion, $2 billion. Wow. Yeah, well, gaming does that in a matter of weeks. So newsflash, the gaming industry is bigger than music and movie combined, plus more. So why is that so important? Well, us as humans, we love to game. We love to play games. I mean, look at it, whether it's sport when we're growing up or, now we're, playing soccer with the kids, whatever it may be. We are competitive creatures, whether we like it or not. We're human beings. That's what the human race is about, right? It's fight for survival. You are playing a game. Welcome to life. So gaming is exactly the same as that. Like, you get to play fun games, right? We're in an attention economy right now, and a lot of people's attention is stuck on the scroll like this, and a lot of people's attention is playing fun games to entertain their monkey brain. So why not be rewarded for that experience? Welcome to Web3. Now we get to utilize Web3 technology into gaming, what we already love, and get rewarded for doing that. Like, that is a no-brainer. Now you own digital assets. Why do people want to collect digital assets? Or why does your grandma want to collect china plates that you never ever get to eat off until it's her funeral? And then you're like, I've got all this china, let's sell it. You know, so digital assets is what, like, us and the future generation, children, you know, Generation Z and continuing on, they see value in this. They dictate the trends because the children are the future, and we need to see what they do, whether we like it or not. And boomers can get on their high horse and be like, these kids don't know anything. That's bullshit. These kids know more than you'll ever know. Why? Because they grow up on the internet. Why? Because every question that they have in their brain is on the internet. So I think that's really powerful, right? So now everyone's at home like, you know, you could never make money from gaming years ago. Now you can. It's billions of dollars industry. You know, so I mean, I could continue on here, but I think I made the point that, you know, it's really vital and really crucial and really fun and exciting at the same time.
Yes. I mean, that is like so true, right? I mean, gaming is, I think it's like evolving from, it's like a complete different, like another one. Like, you know, I think before we had like from consoles, like I remember my first console game, which I had to plug into the TV, right? And then, like, you know, it's like one of the rolling things with the ping pong and all, and you had ping pong and table tennis, the same game.
Yes.
The same game, like a different name, right? And we still play, we loved it. And I think the next iteration, like, you know, when it comes to mobile devices, I mean, that's it got a whole new subculture, right? For the mobile games, like people are used to the mobile, like, you know, all the thumb actions, like bam, 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 you know, from rather than joystick. I think it goes through these so many iterations, and now we are at a sort of the blockchain. So it's like owning your digital assets. I think for now, people are like, okay, look, we played games for the last 20, 30 years. You know, we don't really care about it. We just played it and got out of it, and that's it. But now, I think, like you said, you made a really good point, Rowdy, that the youngsters who are coming on board, when you think about it, the youngsters nowadays, they are very materialistic like us. You know, when you say us, I mean like more like me, my age, right? And everyone's more like experiences. It's all about experiences rather than spending money on cars or houses, owning a property and all those things, right?
That's it. Well, that's life, right? Everything is rented in life. This T-shirt, this body, the house, everything. What do we take with us? Memories. How are they made? Through experiences. So enriching and enhancing that experience for humans. That's what we love. That's what we get, like, gets our adrenaline or endorphins pumping. Experiences. Experiences are everything to us, right? And having that in the palm of your hand through mobile gaming, that's why mobile gaming outperforms PC and console. Why? Because when you're on your public commute or where you're chilling with a friend and you want to play a game and you don't want to slug around your PlayStation, then it's in your hand. And where does our phone go? Everywhere we go. When we go to the toilet, guess who comes with us? Our phone. What do we play on the toilet? Mobile games. So that's really important, right? And these are facts. And you've got to look at the facts. You've got to look at the data and all that sort of stuff. You go, okay, cool. So, you know, enhancing that overall experience where it just makes a lot of sense, right? The mobile phones are an extension of us, whether we like it or not. If we lose our phone, you know, like your heart sinks. My everything is on that phone. So, I mean, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I just want to touch base with one of the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest games, I don't know, but definitely a trend was the Duke Dash, right?
Yes.
People are sitting on it like, it's just like in a sewage. It's like, simple mind. It doesn't even have anything behind it. It's just like, why it's flying through a sewage and all those things. But I think like some people are playing like 20 hours, like so many hours on it. Why is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, because they can, for starters, right? But like, that's what some people do. That's their life, right? I mean, look at the guy, I forget his name, but the guy who won it and got the golden key and then sold it for, I think it was 1.6 or $2 million, something crazy, right? Why? Because he saw the investment there. He's like, cool, I'm really good at gaming. Motor and hand skills, hand-eye coordination, he's a gun at it. And, watching that video, I was like, holy shit. Like, why? Like, I was blown away. And then watching other gamers and how they operate, like, it's crazy. But, yeah, like, people see the investment there. They're like, okay, cool. Like, I can do this and making money. I mean, look, Dookie Dash, mixed reviews. I have my own opinions on it. And I think, it is a product of Yuga. And it's separate to the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and the Meebits and the CryptoPunks and everything else in the ecosystem. And it was a reskin game, but they've done it really well. And I have to give them credit there because now people are paying $6,000, $10,000 more for these passes to play the game, and then using their ape token and all these other things to enhance that overall experience because they wanted to win. Right? There was a big shiny prize at the end, and no one knew exactly how much it would be worth, but they knew it was going to be worth something. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's just that's a great example of the future. People are playing games for a lot of money. I mean, you have other games out there that throw tournaments all the time, and the cash prizes are phenomenal. That's why you've got teenagers who are multimillionaires doing really well and are playing games. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the funny thing I seen about Dookie Dash, well, not funny, but from like a business perspective, is first of all, you need the community. You've got to have that hype culture and have people interact, like any game really, to become popular. But Yuga managed to hold a tournament. Their cost may have been, for minting the key was like $10, $20. And give $1.2 or $1.3 million worth of reward to the person who won it. Like if you hold a tournament in Web2, it's like, oh, we're going to give you $1 million, but these guys created that NFT, rewarded the winner, and then someone else come in and said, well, you know what? I'm willing to give you the $1.2, $1.3, $2 million. And he done very well from it. Just a young kid too.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's life-changing, right? I mean, and there's a lot of people who have come into Web3 and especially gaming and changed their whole life. Our parents used to get mad at us, like, don't play games, don't sit too close to the TV, you'll get square eyes, like all these myths. But, and then now everyone's like, oh, wow, like this is something. So, it's crazy.
And I think with the gaming now, I think the beauty thing will be for the gaming is like bringing that mixed reality into gaming. I think we're going to see a lot of that, now being, done like in the NBA court side. You can sit in the court side now and, watch the game, and you look down, you can see the Nikes that you're wearing, like from Nike, and, there's some, and I can't wait to bring that into a mobile, like we had, the Pikachu's, the Pokemon. That's right, the Pokemon Go, all those things. And the beauty of the Web3 is now with the power of the blockchain. Now it brings in everything, the assets. Now you can activate like marketing activations.
Yeah.
Right. And how can that get integrated to a business rather than just a game?
It's a whole ecosystem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive ecosystem.
It's just I feel with Web3 gaming, a lot of people are experimenting. But it's finding that right model that works. Like we've had the Crypto Kitties and the Axie Infinities. I remember seeing AXS come in all over Twitter, and I'm like, why is Twitter suddenly talking about the Australian Stock Exchange? Like, what's going on here? This AXS. And then, found out it was Axie Infinity, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm going to jump on and I'm going to have a game. And it was like $1,200 to buy 3 of the Axies. And I'm like, nah, I can't be bothered. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm late to the party, which I never like to be. And then stepped away. But with that inflation model, you get that run up of hype and momentum, but the inflation model dies it out or levels it out, depending on how you want to look at it. But Rowdy, what do you see in your mind is like? There's different verticals there, but how a Web3 game should develop with NFTs, scarcity, free to play. Like, what would your ultimate game look like?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So now I'm in the mobile gaming industry. It's going to be a biased opinion on mobile gaming, but I think we saw at the start of last year is a lot of gaming companies going, we're making a game, we're making a game. There's a lot of them are still building the games. Games take a long time to build, especially quality games. But I mean, my perfect game would be something that I could play on a mobile or a handheld device somewhere that I guess allows me to earn digital assets and be able to whether it's a side hustle or it's some sort of currency or whatever, basically create some sort of income off that, but also create a brand around that and then build a brand around that and also engage with a community of like-minded individuals, right? So that just opens up the door for everything. And I think that a lot of people are just underestimating that. So like, introduction of tokens, NFTs, SBTs as well. We essentially get them in game now. It's like you've unlocked this because you've completed X amount of tasks in a game. So, they get our endorphins flowing. So yeah, I think that's probably the best sort of game for me would just be a mobile game. I think we're still far away from the VR stuff. I mean, look, there's some really cool stuff happening there. I just don't see it really becoming a mainstream thing yet. Maybe in the next few years, but way off. AR, yes, that is probably going to take off really, really soon and implement that with gaming. I mean, I remember years ago, I was running around in the park down here on Pokemon Go, competing for $500 trying to catch Pokemon. So that happened years ago. So it's here. I think that being able to look into the real world and then now these digital assets are everywhere. That's, I guess, like dream for me, like, because I'm like, all right, cool, I can go and do all these things. And then it's like that Ready Player One movie, life becomes a video game, right? So, yeah.
That's true. So we're just coming to the last of 10 minutes. I just want to talk about a little bit about the technology side. I want to touch base a little bit about technology side of things now.
Yeah.
Like recently, like I would say, like the sort of last weekend or end of last week, there's a bit of thing about what's happening in the Ethereum space with the new, that got mainnet, which is 4337 contract, and Rowdy, I saw you did a post on it as well. So if you talk about the ERC 4337, from your side, how do you think that brought value to your industry, the gaming industry?
Yeah, it's huge. Look, I've been a big fan of the ERC 4337 for quite some time. And I have friends who are building wallets out of it, and I think that's really cool. So I guess put it into simple terms for people listening is, what is that, Rowdy? So basically smart contracts, right, that run on the blockchain. Think of them as a mortgage but written in code. It's just a contract, right? And we can add whatever terms we want to this contract. What the ERC 4337 allows us to do is something called account abstraction. So, and a good example of this is I have 100 Bitcoin. I wish, by the way, I do not have that, but let's say as an example, I have 100 Bitcoin. I forget my key. I nominate Cozy as, someone that I trust, and I actually send him my seed phrase. He's not able to see that seed phrase, right? But he holds that key. So when I go to recover my wallet, I say, hey, Cozy, I need that seed phrase. And I send him a prompt from my wallet. He sends me that seed phrase back and my wallet is unlocked. And I think that's really important because, out of all the Bitcoin out there, I think it's about 7 or maybe more percent of Bitcoin is actually missing. Right. So that whole market cap of 21 million Bitcoin is actually a lot less because a lot of wallets out there or computers have been thrown in the bin but most common reason is people forget their seed phrase, and you only have 3 attempts. After that 3rd attempt, it is gone forever, right? So I think that's a really cool advancement. Gasless fees as well, and then there's just a huge range of features. So wallets, the MetaMasks, the or the Phantoms, all that sort of stuff. All those big mainstream wallets, now need to really step up their game, because there's some really cool wallets coming out that are going to enable us to do a lot more. And I think that's really important, just from a security perspective, but also an enablement perspective to do all these amazing things with these wallets, and in a safe way. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really bullish on it. And like I said, a friend of mine is building a really cool wallet. The UX and UI is really good. So I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. No, I think that's what's going to help the next big. I know that Animoca brand, they got this thing called, they want to onboard the next billion people onto the blockchain. I think that's what their mission is. And I think having these types of new innovations happen, the new wallet types happen, people don't have to think of the seed phrase, they don't have to think of their MetaMask, right? They just onboarding with their social media account, all the email address and all that, and they're onboarding as their normal without knowing it's blockchain, it's NFTs, and they just enjoy the platform and as a utility, and not being like techno nerds.
Yeah.
Or this is cool, I can pay for gas, I can put like what you call the nonce up the nonce so that I can jump the queues and all that stuff. It all disappears now in a place like this, where we're going to onboard all the normies, right? As an OG, how would you feel?
Sorry, but as an OG, how would I feel with?
Yeah, like you be like, so when you onboard earlier, you had to create your MetaMask and you had to do all those things, right? And like, I look at it like this, right? Because the sommeliers sitting around a table, right? Enjoying some, you like your wines, right?
I'm sober now, but I do love my wines.
That's right.
Yes, I mean, I love to look at them now. That's all. But I love my wine. So that's a great question. So I think it's exciting, right? How do we onboard all these normies, as we call them, or just people from Web 2 into Web 3? And there's just so many friction points to go and set up a new wallet and buy an NFT. I think it's over 32 clicks. It might have been reduced, but I think that's what it was last time I counted. And I was like, this is horrible. And then, adjusting gas fees and stuff like that. So now, there's some really great wallets coming out. I mean, Edge Wallet, Zengo, these guys don't get enough credit. And you're able to log in with an email address, very simple, and then go through and have like a Web 2 front end that a lot of us, do to log into our emails or our Google accounts or something like that, and then have the Web 3 back end. And I think that's what's really been missing, right? You really had to be switched on and actually understand how this all works. And if you're new to the space, I mean, it's just really, I guess, frustrating and overwhelming experience to go through, because you're like, what the hell is going on here? And trying to explain it to someone is really hard. So, this is making the overall experience a lot better, frictionless. And I think that's really cool and exciting. You can say to your friends now, hey, like, you give your email away to all these marketing companies or brands trying to sell you products or services, and then you get all these spam, and then they sell your email to some scammer overseas, and then they start sending you all these emails. Well, now, you've got this wallet, and with technology like, MPC, you can now do it safely with your email and have all these amazing features, but have all your currency in one place, and be able to go and do all these things. And, if someone hacks into your wallet or something like that, I mean, it's a lot harder now with all the advancements with ERC 4337 and MPC, like I talked about, which is multi-party computing, computation. And that's really exciting, right? So yeah, I think it's just, it makes the overall experience very easier.
Yeah.
And I think the big win as well is something that crypto's been battling with for many years, is being able to introduce subscription models. within wallets,
Yeah.
like having a subscription model
Of
because it's a contract in itself, it's a wallet. You can now program that in and, all right, I want to pay my $20 to Spotify and Ethereum or USDC or whatever for Army of Fortune, for instance. Which, Rowdy, we're almost up to the end of the time, but can you give us a deep dive into Army of Fortune and like the overall game, the gameplay, and what you guys are planning on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. There's certain things I can't talk about, but what I can talk about is that Army of Fortune is going to be a completely revolutionary game. Why I say that is because we have something called far out. It's just lost my mind. I should know this. This is really embarrassing. It will come to me. Give me a second. But basically, look, it's a really fun game, and it's going to be on mobile. Let me just bring this up because I should know this. Here we go. All right.
That's when you know you're a busy man, mate.
I've got way too much stuff on. Jeez. Okay, that's totally left my mind. Anyways, Army of Fortune is a Web3 mobile game. And it's a completely new style genre of gameplay. It's a mid-core strategy game. And basically, so, you have your RPG games, you have your RTS games, like all these different styles of games. Ours is a game that's never been played before, right? So think about when Flappy Bird came out and how crazy that was. This game is going to be huge. The team has already built unicorn companies. So, we've got a solid team behind us. We're on a massive onboarding phase at the moment. But, the game is going to be really huge. We're releasing a first game before that comes out. So these are all launching within the next couple of quarters. That's all I can say. But really fun and exciting. The overall gameplay, but integrating Web3 technology. It's going to be on the Polygon chain, which is a layer 2 side chain of Ethereum, and it's pretty cool and exciting. Look, there's a lot more that I can't say, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
That's a really good point. So you said you mentioned Polygon, right? And there are quite a few other chains like layer 2 chains like Immutable and Avalanche and few of them like even Optimism. I think they got few of those with pretty much gasless with even Flow and on a completely I think it's like EVM, isn't it? Flow is
no,
Flow
it's
a version.
JavaScript based.
So
it's come to me. So our genre. Sorry about this. A lot going on. RTDB. So our game, it's a completely new genre, and it stands for real-time deck building. So this is going to be a really fun style of gameplay. If you love strategy, this is the sort of game for you. If you're a big fan of Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, any sort of auto chess games, then this is your game. You'll get to build armies, and you get rewarded for building armies. You can capture bases. You can do a whole bunch of things. It's really fun.
Definitely so good. I love my Command and Conquer Red Alert.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? I mean, me too. Big fan. And, being involved with these games, and we're internally beta testing our new game that's coming out soon. So not our flagship Army of Fortune, but our other game. And that's really fun too. And I'm just wow. The gameplay, the graphics, everything's great. A couple of, close personal friends have tested it. And the feedback's been amazing. So we can't wait to launch this. I think everyone's, these guys have been in development for the last over 2.5 years and just been in stealth mode. And, now we're just sort of starting to emerge. And we're doing a lot of this through short form video content. We've already got, I think it's over 20 million total followers across all of our TikTok accounts or likes or something like that. I think it's likes, sorry. And then I think our flagship account's got 1.6 million followers. So a lot of it is, our community is living through TikTok at the moment. And, now we're starting to roll out other marketing strategies through other platforms like Twitter for the Web3 and Reddit, and also Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and all these other places. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to share it all with you.
Awesome. All right. So, Maury, you want to say something?
Last
question or last?
No, there was a point where you said monkey brains, and I had a flashback because I've been copping some grief from all these guys because I bought a lot of monkey balls once. I wasn't going to bring it up because it's in game. Have you heard of them?
No.
Let's
Monkey
not get
balls?
into it.
Yeah, no.
No,
Maury.
Anyway, it was a bad
Yeah.
comment, so over to you, Charlie.
We've all been there. No, I haven't heard of monkey balls.
So, Rowdy, where can everyone find you guys on socials? So, what if you want to just share with everyone listening in for all your guys' socials, where they can find you, websites, anything like that? TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going through and readjusting a lot of this stuff. But if you guys want to keep up with everything that's going on, if you're on Twitter, you can follow at AO Fortune Game. It stands for Army of Fortune. So AO Fortune Game, and then AOF Verse. So AOF Verse is like our metaverse, and that's going to be like our metaverse, and then we'll be launching the games through that. And then if you want to follow some of our characters on TikTok, if everyone's on TikTok, Frog_Pikeman, he's probably our biggest account. And if you click on him, you'll see all of our other accounts as well. Our websites are just getting redeveloped at the moment. And also our Instagram and YouTube channels are all getting done as well. We're just on a massive hiring spree at the moment with hiring 200 people. So it's been a bit crazy, just onboarding everyone, and super exciting. But yeah, that's where you guys can find us. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at James Rowdy ETH on Twitter, at jamesrowdy.eth on Instagram. And yeah, shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to reply. But yeah, thanks for your time, guys. I really enjoyed this chat. I miss you all, and I'm definitely due for a Gold Coast trip very, very soon. So I'll make sure I come and check out the Blockstars HQ, and hopefully we can play the game next time I do come out.
I can't wait. I think
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Right. So we reached our point now. Finish off. So guys, thank you so much. Rowdy, thank you so much. I know that you got like a massive playbook and you gave us 1 hour. I've been thinking of trying to get you for a while, and finally I managed to get you for this for our podcast. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. So guys, for all the social media, please follow James Rowdy. He's an unreal human being. Forget about everything what he spoke about, but as a person, super genuine. You'll learn a lot about what we call hardcore 360. I don't know, it's a 75, so 75. Rowdy using 360, right?
So yeah, 75 hard. But yeah, sure. I'm always doing something crazy. I'm obsessed with self-development, as you all know. But no, look, thanks for the kind words, and right back at you guys. I love you guys, what you guys are doing. And yeah, this has been fun, and I look forward to, collaborating with you guys in whatever capacity we can in the future, whether it be events, more podcasts, whatever it is. Yeah, big love for you guys. So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe, Rowdy, we'll see you on the 20th onwards. So we'll be in Melbourne for that whole week. So.
Oh, this month?
Yeah. We're coming for a CXCY, I believe. It's on the 20th. And then we're there for the NFT Melbourne as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so, I'm not going to those events. I've just got too much on, unfortunately. But look, I mean, shoot me a message. We can do a lunch, a coffee, whatever it is. I'll definitely make time for you guys. So yeah, definitely hit me up. So yeah, awesome. Dude, excited to see you guys.
Yeah, likewise. All right. On that note, all the social media nations, thank you so much for joining us. It's unreal, and see you next week.
See ya.
See you guys.
See you guys. See you, Rowdy.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.